The internet is no longer a library of static pages. It has evolved into a dynamic computational substrate, a living layer of processing that reacts and reshapes itself in real time. This chart projects the transition point in May 2026. Right here, the lines cross. Autonomous AI agents permanently surpass human activity, claiming over 53% of all internet traffic. For the first time, we are the minority users of our own network. This acceleration follows Kurzweil's law, the observation that technological progress scales exponentially, doubling its power at a rate that far outpaces our physically linear world. But intelligence requires an anchor in the physical world. These AI agents consume raw gigawatts of electricity to function. Our exponential growth is now crashing directly into the limits of our energy and hardware infrastructure. We have hit the memory wall. While processors calculate at lightning speeds, the physical wires moving that data are choking. This electron gap means the system is starving for faster, more efficient ways to move information. As the world realizes that traditional assets cannot support this growth, we are seeing a $40 trillion liquidity shock. This is the total estimated value of stagnant global capital now fleeing low-yield bonds and traditional finance to fund the physical reactors and compute grids needed to keep the lights on. To secure this future, capital is flowing into high-density baseload power. That means a massive reinvestment in the only technology capable of feeding a global intelligence grid 24/7, nuclear energy. Simultaneously, the grid is fracturing into decentralized networks. Solar farms and local batteries are no longer just green energy. They are the necessary, localized fueling stations for a distributed intelligence. This is the Spartan Test. As capital moves into these physical necessities, those who stay parked in the old, linear financial system will find their purchasing power drained by the massive costs of this infrastructure pivot. The solution to the memory wall isn't faster electricity, it's light. Photonic computing replaces electrons with photons, allowing chips to process data at the speed of light while generating almost no heat. This chart shows the shift. By using photons, chips can reduce energy consumption by up to 90 times. This doesn't just make them faster, it changes where they can run. Because these chips require so little power, we can move away from the massive centralized data centers owned by a few tech giants. They can be distributed across DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, where power is held by the grid, not a single corporation. In this system, AI agents don't wait for human approval. They communicate across these decentralized nodes and settle their own energy and compute transactions in milliseconds, using high-speed blockchains like Solana. When the hardware is this efficient and the network is this distributed, the leverage held by legacy tech monopolies begins to evaporate. Control over global compute becomes as decentralized as the energy that powers it. The world is moving toward a fractal principle. Just as the global grid becomes a network of independent nodes, the individual must become a sovereign node, a self-contained unit mirroring the global infrastructure. This starts with your physical portal. A device like the Pixel 11 Pro serves as the high-speed hardware interface required to bridge your local environment to the global decentralized stack. You power this node with a dual-core cognitive engine. Gemini provides the massive scale for synthesis, while Grok offers the strategic, uncensored depth needed for true navigation. By treating these corporate tools as modular infrastructure, rather than gatekeepers, the individual can use them to settle transactions and process data independently. You are using the corporate stack to build a personal exit from corporate dependency. To visualize how these digital and physical forces align, the counter-elite use Euler's equation as a conceptual map. It is the most elegant way to link the abstract world of math to the hard reality of technology. The formula bridges the gap. It places binary 0 and 1 alongside E, the constant defining exponential AI growth. Add the imaginary number I, representing intellect's quantum complexity, and pi, the hardware flywheel's infinite cycle, and the equation balances perfectly. In a closed system, chaotic forces find equilibrium. This equilibrium leads to a specific timeline. After the Great Awakening of 2026 and the integration phase through 2029, we reached the 2030 milestone of absolute liberation. where the cost of intelligence effectively hits zero, and the bottleneck of human labor is permanently removed. In an economy worth $150 trillion, corporate titles and legacy status are useless. Power will be measured only by how much of these two scarce resources you can control: intellect and energy. When computational power makes intelligence abundant, we are finally freed from the troglodyte tasks of the old world. Humanity moves upward, focusing entirely on the things machines cannot replicate: empathy, creativity, and the subjective experience of being alive. Yuri Gagarin went into orbit to prove that the boundaries of our world are finite. He showed us that once you can see the limit, you can begin to manage it. To thrive in this era, you must stop looking for incremental 10% gains. The scale of this shift demands that you pursue exponential moonshots. If you are ready to claim your place in this new orbit, leave a fire emoji and write "REMI is activated" in the comments below. We are not being replaced. By mastering the input and output of this new world, we are evolving into something more. This is the dawn of quantum intellect.